Welcome to Sports Trebuchet, Issue 6. We would like to thank the Meltdowns for the use of their song, Cemetery City, for the intro. They're really cool guys. They have a new EP dropping in January. Elliot and Eric are my buddies. You may know Elliot Kyle, but we've talked. He's inappropriate and really great. It's a very small... What y'all don't know, y'all haven't really heard the intro, but it has like no vocals or anything. So if anybody's curious or interested, I'm going to put the full song at the very end of the episode, kind of as a shout out to them, because it's a pretty badass song. So I'm Marty.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Josh.
And we have, for the first time ever, a guest visitor to the podcast. What do you want us to call you?
Nasta would be fine.
Nasta is right.
That's it.
Welcome, Nasta.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward for this day for a long time.
He's hopefully not too long.
Well, six episodes
for at least
ago.
the 12 weeks we've been doing this show.
11 and a half weeks.
11 and a half weeks he's been just nipping at the bud. So today's show, if anyone is listening that's heard past episodes, you might notice that the formats are kind of different. Sometimes we'll have a lot of topics, sometimes we'll have like one big one. We're still kind of messing with it, and thank you for going on that ride with us. This time we're only going to have like one really, really big main focus. We are comparing today's NFL teams to their 2000s music counterpart. That goes originally rock bands, but then, you know, if it's rappers, if it's singers.
I definitely went all rock bands, so.
Yeah, Kyle went all rock bands because it's all he knows. And honestly, I would have if I had to dig deep, and I was like, fuck it, I'm throwing some rappers in there.
I've got some dumbass bands.
Yeah. And so we'll cover that in a little bit towards the end of the show. We're also going to talk very, very briefly about the Alliance of American Football, the new league that this is going to be the official podcast of. They've called me.
The non-XFL new league?
The one that's not the XFL is how they'll remember. They're the AAF.
The ugly step kid.
The ugly step kid, run by Dick Ebersol.
It's the awesome as fuck league. That's
awesome as fuck league.
Well, AAF. Awesome as fuck.
That's actually really good. I didn't count as a word there. I was considering, because they're not counting of in the Alliance of American Football.
Yeah, well, we don't count the of either. That's why it's awesome.
So let's not, we just introduced Nasta and left him hanging. Nasta, let's learn more about you, because in some of these early episodes, we kind of explained where we come from. And hopefully no one listens to them, because they're shitty episodes. The early episodes are bad. We're trying to find our...
They could be better.
Yeah, well, and
the newer ones are moderately better.
And for moderate is the key word there. And like to summarize that, I'm from Texas. Josh is from Brighton in England, and Kyle's from upstate New York. Nasta, where are you from?
I'm originally from Long Island, New York.
I couldn't tell.
No?
Yeah. There's nothing in your voice that even indicated it.
I mean, some people think I'm from Alabama, but it's Long Island, New York. I'm
Alabama, but with a head trauma.
Yes. And I am a big hockey fan. New York Rangers are my number one sports team, followed by the Carolina Panthers, which I'm not too happy with them right now. And then the New York Yankees will be my third.
And if you haven't turned off the podcast,
I'll put a hit out on you.
He's from Long Island. He knows people.
He really does.
He'll just come out with a baseball bat. We don't know.
That's very possible. Do you want to give me 10 words on the hockey season so far?
10 words? Well, being a New York Ranger fan, I might be going over those words.
You already are.
Oh, I'm done. I'm done.
That'll do it for hockey.
They were projected to be bottom dwellers, and so far this season, I think we are in the middle of the pack in the Eastern Conference. So I am happy about that.
So above projections, that's good.
Yes.
So let's look at NHL standings real quick.
And in the Metropolitan, we are actually fourth overall. So I'm not too.
Does anybody even consider Columbus to be a metropolitan?
How about Carolina being a metropolitan?
Oh, Carolina.
Wait. I think Columbus should be part of the Metro League because there's a bunch of metros in Columbus, right?
Metro.
Okay,
sorry.
Hashtag back to back.
That's cool. So
Metro.
Columbus's only benefit is that they're not Cleveland. It's a city too.
The mistake by the lake.
They're somewhere in between Cincinnati and Cleveland.
Yeah.
Surrounded by terrible.
Awesome. Well, I would like to point out that the Stars have a better record than the Rangers.
Yes.
And I couldn't tell you two people's names.
Well, Jamie Benn and
All right,
Taylor
Sagan and
Sagan,
Ben.
yes.
Anybody after them, done. Don't even know who their coach is right now.
Ben Bishop's their goalie.
The Stars is a pretty solid team, I will say.
They got rid of Hitch. They got rid of Hitch again.
You got Jim Montgomery, a college coach out of Denver.
Yes, and he was the coach that was supposed to be going to the Rangers, but he decided that he didn't want to be part of that rebuilding process, so he went to the Stars.
I have an important question I want to ask you. I had an old boss that was from the Buffalo region, and he was a Sabres fan, which is besides the point. He hated the fact that the NHL had any teams south of Kentucky. Period. He thought that the Hurricanes, that now the Golden Knights, that the Dallas Stars, anything Florida, the Coyotes, that it was absolutely an embarrassment to the NHL and to the detriment of the NHL.
Some strong gatekeeping.
He's from Buffalo, and they don't have much other than hockey. And even then, he's also super bitter that the Stars beat them in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Which
a kicked puck.
Yes, I agree. I agree. That was a kick puck by Brett Hull that should never have counted.
Brett Hull, one of the best players in NHL history.
He's no Peter Bondra.
He's no Peter Bondra. Is accurate. Peter Bondra was my favorite player as a kid. That's probably all I've got for hockey, so I'm going to move on, to be honest.
Let's go move on. Yes.
Yeah, all right. So, what do you guys want to talk about?
Let's start with this next thing on the list, bro.
Yeah,
we don't have to go over this list. This is just kind of a if and or
The first thing is anything.
Well, which we just went over.
Also topics, I listed anything at the top.
Let's talk about the...
Ooh.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we can talk about the Redskins deciding to go with Dirty Sanchez and that Kaepernick.
All right.
Yes, please do, because I know that Marty is very pro Kaepernick and getting him back into the league. So I want to.
It's not even. Let me preface this with all the political shit aside. It doesn't matter. The fact that, and Kaepernick is probably my the one I'm sticking to, because there's so many good college quarterbacks that get to the NFL and they never get a chance, and by the time they do, they're in such a shitty situation that there's no recovering from it.
True.
And like the exact opposite happened to Mark Sanchez. He was kind of good in college, but because of the school he went to, he got picked and got given a chance, and he got inflated largely by the surrounding staff around him. He had a coach that didn't know how to coach offense, so it's probably he could have had a better shake there. But the defense is what got the Jets to where they were in those playoffs, because Sanchez could just manage
and
the game.
the butt fumble.
And then the butt fumble happened, and
well, he made up for it this week. He made up for it this week. He's clearly been doing butt things.
So it goes full circle.
Yes. Possibly his last season.
And I think there's a camp of people that think that one of two things about Kaepernick. One, he was not that good of a quarterback. Or two, he's such a weird quarterback that it would take the entire fucking offense an off season to plan around his skill set. To which my argument is, fucking high school teams learn how to run the option within weeks, and with less practice time, they're not paid. The other argument is, when he's not forced to run, he's still, for the record, all-time in the NFL, 18th all-time if you want to look his pass rating as a legit stat. 18th all-time.
Who, Kaepernick?
Kaepernick, all-time. And that's with a minimum of 1,500 passing attempts. He's 18. Do you think Sanchez or... Because I like Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy has a place.
I like gunslinger.
I think Chase Daniel with the Bears, for instance. Who's the Jags backup that's been playing?
Cody Kessler? No.
Do I think Cody Kessler's a better option than Cap to win?
No.
Not at all.
No. Here's my thing with Kaepernick that would worry me at this point. One, you bring him in, it is going to be a circus. I know we're not talking about the political aspect of it, because that's not what I'm hitting on right here. I'm not talking about his views. I'm talking about...
No, but you're right.
When he comes in, it's going to be a circus. That is going to be the only thing that they talk about. Do you really want that around a team that's hanging out for their dear life trying to get into the playoffs?
better than no chance at all? Because starting Mark Sanchez is resigning yourself to trying to get a top 16.
Here's my other thing with Kaepernick. He's been out of the league how long now?
2 years?
2 or 3.
How well has he been keeping himself up?
He has. I mean, like, there's a video all over the place. It's not like it's not on.
I'm just talking about game time, throwing the ball. Just
Sanchez is the same argument. When's the last time he started?
But he's been in and around teams.
He's-
So like
yeah.
so to compare it to someone else, you could come back and look like a David Hay, or you could come back and look like a Tyson Fury. You don't know what he's going to look like. You when you take that long out of the game and you haven't been taking punches, you haven't been throwing balls, you haven't been kicking them, you don't know what it's going to look like. This isn't my argument, by the way. I can see what you're saying.
No, I agree. There's always that possibility, but like the difference between him and who would you in this situation? Kaepernick's healthy, right? And he is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather take him, or for just you're asking for how many games? 4? Not even.
yeah.
For 4 games, a healthy Kaepernick who's proven he can do it in the league, but maybe a couple years rusty, or someone, let's say, coming off an ACL, like period, who's already going to be out of the game for a year, and you're not sure they're going to bounce back either. It happened to Carson Palmer, right? So, like, do you think Carson Palmer post-Bengals injury, when he got his leg rolled over, that Carson Palmer had a better chance of coming back than Kaepernick right now?
I'm just saying that if you're going to make a move like that, you make it before the season. You bring him in and you have him on the team.
I agree with Kyle 100% on that. Only reason why I say that is because, like Eric Reed from the Panthers, same issue. He was with Kaepernick kneeling, but I think going to a position like that, he has help. He has help back there. He has some other safeties, cornerbacks. Kaepernick, even though he might be working out, throwing the ball, but game time under center. And if you have 4, 5, 6 weeks, he's not going to get comfortable until at least maybe week 3 of getting thrown in there. And now you just lost 3 games maybe. I think he should get a chance, 100%. But maybe next year in the offseason, the team should bring him in. Maybe like the Redskins, because they don't have
a lot of people hurt.
Yeah.
And they're all going to be a long time.
I don't think you have to change the offense that much, but also. And I get the argument of, like, people that are with teams and being able to slide into that role. But did 2017, the entire offensive philosophy and play calling change when Nick Foles got put in for the Eagles? It did. It was a completely different offense.
But Nick Foles was with the team the entire time.
That's fine.
Right.
So
he worked with those players.
That means so little. And also they're professionals, so stay late. It's not a fucking big deal. I think it's a failure for the Redskins to think that they have the coaching ability, because all it takes is coaching ability. It's not like Kaepernick's. If Kaepernick comes in and he's like drinking a fucking Diet Coke and is like, I'm not going to watch film, or like, I could throw the ball 100 more times to.
I'm having a great visual of Kaepernick walking into a film session with a Coke and a straw.
And his big afro. Yeah, he don't want to get his teeth stained.
I think a bigger question is, that isn't my argument either, I'm going to give you that in a minute, is would he even play for the Redskins?
Washington, D.C.
Because of the politically incorrect nature of it. That's actually a really good point. That's actually a great point.
And
I'm just
how much he's going to deal with Dan Snyder.
Yeah, that's
complete ass.
Yeah, it's tough to find a more or less PC. That is a consideration I had never even made.
Kaepernick needs to play for a big market team that is used to circuses, like the Jets, which that's not going to happen. The Giants, they're going to get that good draft pick. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, but the draft pick might not be a good guy that's coming out.
But also, how fun would the potential of Kaepernick and Saquon be for the Giants?
With those receivers,
they'd be more impressive.
Yes. I think so. I mean, I'll see that.
Beckham with Sterling Shepard.
I want to see it so bad now.
Kaepernick and Saquon. What an attitude problem.
And Evan Ingram.
That might be jail right there.
What an attitude problem.
They'll be at Scores in Manhattan getting some lap dances.
I want to see Odell Beckham and Colin Kaepernick both just show out.
It's got to be great. Or just honestly, I want to see a 5-minute conversation with Eli and Cap. That's really like just to see Cap like being like, yeah. So I volunteered time over at like such and such, and Eli's just like breathing through his mouth, not following. He's like, I had turkey for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Asking for some ice cream.
Asking for ice cream, yeah. Trying to get him to trick with like the Visa pass, like that stupid.
Trying to show Kaepernick that football can be on your phone.
Yeah, football can be on your phone. He starts singing the DirecTV commercial. Josh, what was your argument?
So my only thing I would say, and I'm sure you have a million comebacks from it, but from a law perspective, as someone who's been down that road, especially with sports stuff, I would not, if I was hired by any NFL team to consult, which would never happen in a million years because it would be fraud, but I would not touch him with a 10-foot barge pole until his lawsuit with the NFL itself is gone. You should not be touching anybody with a lawsuit against the league until that's gone away. And you know who else fits under those things? Your favourite man, CM Punk. Nobody in the wrestling world will touch him until his lawsuit's gone with the WWE.
Yeah.
And I think that
too much.
But Cap was good, so that kind of comparison.
But if you're thinking about bringing him in, like, it's just one of those like, you just shouldn't do it.
No, the legal part's really interesting, and I don't know if FIFA has any kind of equivalent to this, but like in American leagues with players' unions in general, it's really fucked up, only because those leaders for the players' unions ultimately make the decision. I mean, it's not any different than like your elected politicians, right? Like, you're supposed to be representing like 500 people, but like you can do whatever you want technically, and that's what happened when God, what's his face that quit? He was one of the people played for the Ravens, I think. That was one of the NFL players' union's leaders, and everybody screwed him over. Everybody did their own thing. And
what's his name?
Went with, like, in this conversation, the anti-cap argument, and this guy's like, okay, well, we just fucked over anybody that wanted to, like, kneel or put a message out or anything else. So yeah, I think you're right.
It was something Newsom. Was it?
Trevor Newsom.
Ozzie Newsom?
Ozzie Newsom.
How far away was Trevor?
I have no idea. I have no idea who Trevor. I don't know who Trevor Newsom is.
Right. I don't know if that's a real person. It probably is. I mean,
Trevor Newsom is.
He's just a normal guy.
He's some Titans fan on Twitter.
That makes it awful.
What a piece of shit.
Man, well,
I can boldly say, I would bet you money that there has been at least 3 quarterback-needy NFL teams that have talked about going with Kaepernick, and their legal team have said absolutely fucking not. And they have to take the political backlash, whether it's true or not, and they keep their damn mouth shut again because the legal team has said, don't say anything about it, because it's not worth the time or effort.
The other flip side of that, I think, though, is there's got to be, I know there's teams out there that realize, even if it's a PR stunt, that by signing him, their fucking merchandise is going to be skyrocketing.
Depending on the right team.
A lot of people will
like Seattle.
Yeah, absolutely. Seattle.
They're not going to do that with someone like Russell Wilson and quarterback.
Even if he's a backup for like the Rams.
What will really happen, that will really set this off and be actually a crime, will be when if somebody takes a chance and signs Kareem Hunt before somebody gets Cap.
And as soon as that lawsuit goes away that he has with the league, if he is then being turned down for dogshit quarterbacks like Mark Sanchez, or people like Kareem Hunt is getting in, then we've got a much bigger problem there.
Yeah, I think
because that's more of a statement.
And it'd be one thing if it's like, hey, he shows up to practice and like he just doesn't have it anymore, and that's always a possibility.
Right, and that's fair.
But like, for any, we work with 2 people that happen to be Redskins fans that I heard them having the conversation, and I brought it up just as a bit, right, to see what they'd say. And they go, the scheme, man. The scheme would be too much. And I was like, he literally succeeded after Alex Smith left a position. If Alex Smith can do it, Kaepernick can do it.
Yeah, that scheme is just an excuse. They can change it up a little bit.
Period.
Might take him 2-3 games. But I will say,
or an off season.
I'll say with merchandise, I was at the Panther game against the Ravens. I think it might have been Reed's 2nd or 3rd game with the team, maybe by then.
Sure.
And I saw a handful of Reed jerseys already. And now Reed is on a smaller scale.
Way smaller scale.
And I'll tell you, if Kaepernick gets back in the NFL, no matter, And like I said, I had
Above
my
average safety is not Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Or that you saw a Peppers defensive jersey and it wasn't. I'm sorry, a Panthers defensive jersey that wasn't Peppers and or Kuechly. That is a fucking miracle.
Yeah.
Or Thomas Davis.
Oh, that's the other
Thomas
one. I
Davis.
was trying to remember his name.
Yeah, but I will say, I mean, I have my own reason not to like Cap, and that's because he beat the Panthers in the NFC divisional game, and I was at that damn game. That's the reason why I don't like him.
Should we transition from NFL to AAF?
Yeah, so let's
do
talk
this
about
draft, baby.
let's talk about the Alliance of American Football. So what I want to do is actually take this league kind of seriously, and when it starts,
It's more serious than the actual people that own it. They're taking
I like
it.
that he has to preface it with the fact that we need to take it seriously.
well, here's the reason why. Because I want it to work so bad. Because I want spring football. I'm sick of having to wait for that weird month before the Stanley Cup playoffs start or before the NBA playoffs start.
Yeah.
Or spring training talk where it's 20 days until catchers and pitchers report.
Yeah.
Fucking let's chill.
Yeah, you pitch, I catch.
It's funny you said you catch. That's the best part about it. So there's 8 teams, and I think the way to maybe get invested a little bit is for us to have our own team. And maybe not a rooting interest, but 2 teams to watch is easier than 8, right?
So
For the
I
whole-
come wearing half and half jersey to work.
Ooh, that's actually brilliant.
Given the fact, right, actually, I've just been thinking, given the fact that these are only 8 teams and they're going to play every weekend that they play, right? If we're going to do this draft and give each other 2, why don't we just get the 2 and we have to pick one of the 2 that we pick to support and the other one is classed as our biggest rival?
Ooh, how about this? It's exactly what you said, but you don't get to pick. So the first, because I have a random number here, right? And so the first team you pick is going to be your absolute rival. The second team you pick is going to be your team.
Okay.
Or you know what? Let's
The other way around.
First team, yeah, because it makes this might be a little bit hard.
So one of the teams that we're picking we have to hate.
Yeah, and the other team you have to.
And then
just
when we come back
completely-
on these podcasts, we'll just talk about stats and rushing lead. It's okay.
We'll talk about our 4 teams that we love, and anytime the other 4 get mentioned, because the tricky part about that situation though is if I hate a team, no one's going to have them in this group that likes them.
Yeah, because
That's the point, right?
So we have to have an inner battle with ourselves.
So how about we just do this? The person who has the team that you hate. Well, no, you'd be the person that has the team that you hate. Well, you know what? We're gonna
figure it out.
But we're gonna have a team that we hate and love. So let me make. Kyle, do you want to read off these team names?
Sure. Got the Atlanta Legends.
What do you think is that name?
What do I think is that name?
What do you think of that name? I fucking mumbled. I'm sorry.
Well, I think in Atlanta they still think Jermaine Dupri's a legend. So I think that's why they call him.
Well, that's where the players play, isn't it?
That's
That
where
is where the players
play.
play.
Do they ride on those things every day?
Yes, they do.
Do you know any of the other
I
lyrics?
don't.
'Cause I don't. Just something in the morning. Okay. Go on.
Birmingham Iron.
Underrated name.
Okay. Yeah. It's fair. Or Orlando Apollos.
Orlando Apollos. Is that where Apollo Creed was from? No, right?
It's where Apollo Crews tried out for NXT, actually. So.
Oh, do you think that's where the Apollo 13?
It's probably because all their space stations
Oh,
are down there.
that
like
could be it.
like the Houston Astros, but instead it's the Orlando
Yeah,
Apollos.
when I was down there, they did one of those SpaceX takeoffs right down from me. And I
Do you
wasn't
think?
far away
Do you
from
think
Orlando.
that Apollo, when they say Apollos, it includes not only 13, which was a great success, but also all the ones that blew up in the air?
Wasn't
and
13
killed
the
so
one that
many
did
people?
blow up?
I thought 13 went fine. 13's when
13, I think that's when everybody became famous.
Never forget
Neil-
Challenger.
And
Neil
then
Armstrong.
that's when they landed actually in Arizona and
Yeah, the
pretended it was in
Challenger.
the
Does it
moon.
count the Challenger? That's what I'm wondering.
Challenge.
Challenger. Did you say that was your best day in your life?
I was.
All right, keep going. So keep going, Kyle.
Memphis Express.
Bad name.
Yeah. And it's a jet that's going through there, which doesn't make much sense.
I
Yeah.
figured it'd be a train,
Yeah.
like any other express
Like-
I've ever seen.
Yeah. Express Mail.
Yeah. It's a
flying
it's a
man.
Memphis Federal Express. They overnight it.
The Arizona Hotshots, like the emblem,
Yeah, the other ones are right.
makes you think of forest fires.
I
Yeah.
think that's intentional.
Okay.
Mostly because of the axes, I think, would lead you to believe that.
In the
Apollo
fire.
13 was a disaster, but anyway.
Which one went to the moon? Apollo 13 was it?
Apollo 13 did not go to the moon. It was scheduled to, and then all this shit blew up on their thing, and they had to come home and not have any water for 4
They ripped
days.
around the moon.
Yeah.
Who went on the moon?
11 maybe?
Apollo 11?
I mean, I can always phone a friend, Neil Armstrong.
My wife's
And
family
I'll try
works
to-
with NASA. Yeah.
You
Apollo
best
11.
friends with him?
Yeah, call Buzz Aldrin real quick. See if maybe he has, probably has you on silent because he's dead.
He's not.
Buzz Aldrin dead.
No.
Yeah, totally dead.
Pretty sure he isn't.
He's been dead to me for a long time.
Salt Lake Stallions. I like that, man.
I like that. Now, was that an Italian stallion?
Not
Was
out
that
Utah.
no?
Not out
dead.
Utah.
Oh, that's a Mormon stallion.
Hey, fuck off, everybody.
He is
Aldrin
dead.
died?
Last year. No, I'm kidding. I just like seeing your face though.
So
You see Cowboy.
it's not an Italian stallion. That'll be a Mormon stallion.
The Mormon Stallions.
So there's going to be a lot of other baby. There's going to be
A lot of
ponies
bears.
everywhere.
There's gonna be a lot of ponies hanging around.
Gotta be honest, those I don't think horses would do well on a salt lake. Gotta be honest.
Yeah,
More like a Sugar Lake.
yeah.
Yes,
Cubes.
correct. Well, they have salt licks as well, but I
That's for
think that
cows,
would get
I
them
think.
so far.
Or is that for horses as well? I guess it's
I think-
probably for
Hey,
any
horses.
of
Pretty
them.
sure giraffes
Hey,
like it too.
I mean,
But what does anybody know about giraffes? It's a mystery to this world.
I've watched Mike Lennon
Long
play a
ass
few times.
necks. Okay. San Antonio Commanders. Makes sense.
Does it?
Except that I don't know which side it's representing.
All of them.
The side that won or the side that lost.
So,
Because I tell you what people in San Antonio will. Well, actually, I don't know because San Antonio's like majority
Hispanic.
Mexican American, and that's a really tough one. Pal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're representing.
I mean, I like the emblem because you have the Alamo and you have a little sword.
yeah, it's,
All right, I'm cool with that.
it's pretty sick.
San Diego Fleet. That also makes a ton of sense.
It does because of the big naval
Yeah.
base down in San
Syracuse
Diego.
played a basketball game on one of the
Yeah,
games
that's
out there a
right.
couple years ago.
That was I remember that. Who did they play? UNC.
San Diego State.
San Diego State. That was it.
But
Did
it
they win or
wasn't a
lose?
true home game for them.
Are the hot shots called the hot shots because it's well hot in Arizona?
I don't know.
Yeah, but what's the accent?
Because honestly, I think
Is there
they-
forest?
I think
No
they-
forest fires in Arizona.
No,
is there?
there's not a forest. It's just
Where
desolate
you are.
wasteland.
Well, there's forests in parts of it because there's mountainside, but still, I feel like they probably named that before the last fire, like the big one, and they're just like,
That should have been
too late to
California.
change. We already ordered the helmets. Right. What if their helmets are just football or firefighter shaped helmets? Like they have like the painted
Oh,
off.
that would be pretty cool, actually.
Like a brim going.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. All right.
There's all
Since
that oxygen.
Nasta's our guest, he gets to pick the team he loves. Pick a number between 1 and 8. Nasta.
I'll go in the middle, 4.
Your favorite team is the Arizona Hotshots, which, if anyone knows Nasta, that is the most appropriate nickname of all time.
He is a hot shot.
He is a hot shot.
Alright.
We're not going to go to your hate. We're going to go ahead and go to.
Hot shots.
Did you pick 4, you said?
Fuck, I know the numbers, so how am I going to pick?
I don't know.
I'll do
That's
it.
alright.
Josh, you pick the one you love.
No, Kyle's just about to do it.
Oh, Kyle, you pick the one you love.
Give me a number. Blake Bortles, we're going with 5.
Your favorite team is the San Antonio Commanders.
Okay, I'll take it.
You will never forget the Alamo.
I can't now.
The worst part, at least I think the times are standard for Saturday and Sunday games, so at least there's not going to be like a West Coast time thing where it's
Right.
like, oh, I got to stay up till fucking
I don't
11
have a
p.m. to watch
fucking
the
life.
Hot Shots. Well, not for you. It's San Antonio Central Time.
And it doesn't matter. I have
Josh, let's
like-
pick your love.
In honor of Basuma's man of the match performance last night, I'm going to go with number 8.
Number 8. Your favorite team is the Memphis Express.
I'll take that.
Oh,
I know who I want my favorite team to be, and you're going to pick a number now, and it's going to be whatever my
I'll
favorite
pick a
team is.
number?
Yeah, you pick a number for me. Wait, here's what's gone off. Number 4 is
4, 5,
gone,
and
number 8, and number 5.
What do we think, lads? I'm thinking number 1.
number 1 for Marty.
Number
Ooh,
one. I'm the Orlando Apollos.
Good for you.
You know what?
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm married into NASA royalty, so that's actually fucking, that works.
I think we're giving that name too much NASA love.
It's the only thing it's got, isn't it?
I don't think
I mean,
it has
Orlando's a
anything-
shithole.
I don't think
otherwise.
it has anything to do with NASA.
You don't
I'm
think
telling you,
Apollos
it
has anything to
absolutely
do-
does. Orlando is like a major hub for their rocket
Yeah,
launches.
Canaveral, man.
That's close enough. It's like 45
It's in
minutes
Florida.
down the
It's.
road.
I mean, that's.
Yo, where
Houston's not where they launch it. They
Remember
launch
the
it in
movie?
fucking-
Remember the movie Space Camp?
No.
You remember the movie Space Camp? Even though I am the oldest in this room, how old are you, Marty?
I'm 32.
So I'm the oldest in this room by 11 years.
I'm older than him.
He's older than
How old are you?
33.
Please,
Okay, so
please respect.
I am, how old am I, 43?
I don't know how old you
So 10 years.
All right,
Why
we've
don't you
got
keep watching
numbers.
Space Jam? Don't forget that.
We've got 2, 3,
Oh,
6,
I go
and
next?
7 left,
I-
right?
Okay,
go.
so the team that Kyle is going to hate the most is number.
You
3.
You hate the fucking Salt Lake Stallions so much.
Good.
More than anything.
Hate them.
Just,
Oh, they're the
like, what
worst.
have you got? I mean,
Oh, you and your beautiful peaks out there.
yeah, and you're
Your polygamy.
your lawless religion.
Steve Young loving asses.
That's it.
Nasta, pick the team you're going to hate.
Deuce Bigelow has not been picked. I'll do number 2.
You hate the Atlanta Legends.
Good.
You know what? I'm glad no one loves them. 'cause
I
that
hate
logo
the
is so
Falcons, and now I hate the Legends.
There you go.
Perfect.
nicely.
That really will. And you're such a huge Cardinals fan, so that works even better. Josh, before you pick yours, pick mine that I hate. Pick a number.
What ones have we got left? 6 or 7?
We have 7 and 6. Yeah. Fuck.
Who have we got left? The San Diego Fleet and the Birmingham Iron.
And full stop.
You wanted
Those are the
Birmingham.
2 teams that I wanted. Like
Me
one
too.
of them.
I shit you not.
Fleet's a good team, man.
They're one of the 2 I wanted.
And now one of us. We both have.
we
to
both
hate
have to hate at least one of them.
This is good.
This
Even
is-
more.
I'm deleting this episode.
All right, well you can
Terrible
have
for
number
everyone.
6.
All right, so I hate the San Diego Fleet. God damn it, their
Good.
helmets
That's the
are
one I
so
wanted to
cool,
hate the
man.
least. So I hate the Birmingham Iron.
So you hate the Birmingham Iron,
That's
which
easier
is
to-
even funnier because the way you say it is like the English way. I can't.
Birmingham?
Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Instead of Birmingham.
The Fleet is the one I wanted, so
Me
I'm glad
too.
I didn't get dumped with them being
Yeah,
the most
now I gotta
hated.
hate them.
But
And I'm
I
on
can-
2 opposite sides of the country. I'm an Apollos fan in Orlando, and I hate.
Where's Birmingham?
It's in Alabama.
Alabama.
Oh god,
Yeah, that's-
very easy to hate.
Yeah, that's no problem. No problem there.
The problem is with their 7 fingers on each hand, so they're going to do quite well with the throwing and the catching.
Yes. No, I don't think they have to draft everybody just from the state of Alabama. If they did, though, they'd probably get all the B-side players from
Bama and Auburn.
Bama and Auburn. They'd be the best
And the
team in
UAB
league.
starters, they really would.
Well, Last Chance U, right? Was that in Alabama?
I don't know.
It was.
It was, right?
It was in a. No, it's Mississippi.
Mississippi. Oh, Mississippi.
It was
all
in
the
a,
same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
all
it
the
might as
same.
well. It blurs together.
Should we move on to our main event
We should.
of
We will.
the
We
evening?
So before we reach that subject, join us in our Alliance of American Football. I have to keep looking at the name of the league because I forget.
The awesomest
Awesome as fuck.
The Awesomest Fuck League, guys.
The AAF.
We're going to do this. All right. So the main topic, what everybody came here for, / got told to listen to because y'all are our friends and family and we appreciate that. We are comparing today's NFL teams to 2000s artists. We have a list put together by, separately, we all did. I did my list, Kyle did his list. Josh, you did your list, right?
Yeah, do you know what? The Memphis Express play the Birmingham Iron first game of the season.
Really?
Oh, boy,
So,
you-
fuck off, Birmingham.
NASA, I think, put it together a little bit, but I don't think we explained it to NASA very well. So he's probably just going to chime in with this. And also, in 18 minutes, set your timer. He leaves, so we'll just keep
Diego.
rolling without him. Fuck those
Yes.
guys.
Sorry, I have to leave. It's my father-in-law's birthday dinner.
We'll have you back.
Yes, I'd love to be back. You can't.
And we also got from our producer, Kyle in Texas.
Producer.
He's basically
Okay. Give him that.
that's all he wants.
Okay.
He doesn't listen. That's all he's got. So he didn't do a whole list. He just did a few, and I'm gonna pick out some of the best ones from when we get to it. Do y'all want to go just kind of spitfire, or do you want to do like
go division by division.
we do Bears? I mean, like when we do Bears, you do your Bears, I do my Bears, etc., etc.
I haven't got all the teams
Let me
either.
get
Me
this straight.
either.
Is this bands who like started their music career in the 2000s?
For the most part, or
Ones that
relevant.
Which is most
Kind of
relevant.
in that area, like
So like
how they
90,
were doing,
like 98, 99. Like if I was a band in 95, but I also killed it in the 2000s, does that count?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you know what? And honestly, we'll move the goalpost for you since you are so old. It won't be an issue because your late 90s were our 2000s, you know?
True.
Just
I
no
will-
need for that. So old man.
so mean. I basically looked at it like from the time period of 2000 to 2004, 2005-ish. How was that band doing?
Okay.
And I compared it to the team.
The Memphis Express have Zach Stacy at running back.
Oh God!
I'm in. I'm buying the shirt tomorrow.
It is worth noting that every time y'all hit on that fucking table, it pops this mic. Every
Sorry.
single time. Kyle's been doing it all show. I was gonna
Oh yeah, you're doing.
You know who hasn't? Nasta. The entire time.
Yeah, well,
I'm really excited. It's gonna be
All right, what division do you want to start with first?
Whatever one you want, mate.
NFC North.
NFC
So
North
starting
Okay.
hot.
coming in hot. Okay.
I gotta find my list. I'll start off with one that is a good example, I think,
Okay.
of what I was
What you're
looking
looking
for
for.
originally, but it's also probably like the best one I've got. The Vikings
Okay.
are Audio Slave. And here's why. Because it had a great core, Rage Against the Machine, who needed a new frontman, a la Kirk Cousins and Chris Cornell. And because he's getting hit so much, Kirk Cousins is probably going to end up like Chris Cornell and end up being dead.
Oh no!
It's unfortunate. Yeah, well, I just added that at the end.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
You're not gonna like my comparison.
You have the Vikings. Oh, you got every single team.
I
ain't
do.
you?
I have all.
Yeah, I have all but two. I think I might have forced one.
Jeez, I only have 11.
Vikings.
I
I
got
got with
none.
Static X
Oh my god.
because
Oh, they are great, I guess. So.
well, no. So this is why they had a lot of hype when they first came out, and I never thought that they really lived up to that hype. I felt like
When they came out in the late 90s.
yeah.
I mean, to be
I
honest,
never lived up to it.
their last good album was in 2000, like 2000 Hard. Like,
Yeah.
they came up with a lot of bad music.
And I don't think they lived up to it. So
Yeah, well, you hate Static X and you hate me, so
I do.
That makes sense. NFC North, do y'all have anything? Nasta, Josh?
Yeah, I've got the Packers and the Bears, so
okay.
I don't have the Vikes, and I don't have.
That's okay. Let's tip off with the Packers.
Tip up with the Packers. I've got the Packers as Pitbull. No one really likes them. They're always there, no matter what happens, and they're always just good at one thing. Mr. Worldwide, Aaron Rodgers. That's all they've got.
And can I say, is that also Mr. Overrated?
Yes.
Thank you.
It is.
And Pitbull was overrated.
Still is.
Nasta, for someone who designs their entire look after Pitbull, I feel like you should. I feel like you should probably be a little bit more kind
I
to
know. I just don't have his shades on.
Mr.
right now.
305 worldwide. Who do you have for the Packers, Kyle?
Packers, kind of along the same lines. I went with Limp Bizkit because they were at that point. So 2003, 2004, they were still there, hanging around.
Just hanging.
And man, we just wanted them to fucking go. just,
Get rid of them.
just want them gone.
And they're cheesesteaks too.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, it's all. Yep.
So I have Packers as the White Stripes because here we go. Jack White thinks he's God's gift to music, like the Packers fans think their franchise is God's gift to the NFL.
True.
And without the girl, Aaron Rodgers without Olivia Munn, Jack White without Meg White, they look very human and mediocre.
Very.
How is that sucking?
Fair play.
I don't want to suck it, but
let's go ahead,
commend you.
I
Since-
enjoy
since-
just talking shit about them and stuff.
Yeah, they're the worst. So since you don't have the Lions, I'm going to do mine real quick. Lions Panic at the Disco. Once pretty talented laden team is now just Matt Stafford trying to stay afloat because the Panic at the Disco singer is
just
the
one
only guy
guy.
left in season 2.
So when I thought of the Lions, I thought of they're the most generic, safe, just mediocre team out there. Like I don't think one way or the other. They are trained.
Ooh,
Oh.
that's drops to Jupiter.
Yeah. Comes out with the hitter a couple
They are
years and they're back.
trained. Bears.
The Bears. Let's do this. we have one Bears fan here. Do you want to lead off?
I can start.
And then we get to just beat you up over it?
It's not really that good.
Okay.
Like, it's not like a compliment.
The Bears?
Well, it's kind of
The
complimentary.
Bears.
You mean the Bears?
The shuffle.
The Bears.
So you mean the comparison's not
86.
But
Yes, it's
I think
it's Jim McMahon.
I think the comparison is spot on, but you've got to remember, I've only been following this sport for like 3 or 4 years, so everything I'm doing is based on how they all are now. So,
That's what we're doing. It's 2018.
as of the year of 2018, the Bears are arguably the best defense in the league. Arguably. So my 2000s comparison is 50 Cent, because if he can get shot 9 times and survive, that's some pretty good defense.
Okay. I went with the
Good point.
Strokes. I went with the Strokes because they're kind of a throwback kind of team, much like the Strokes are kind of a throwback kind of band, and they kind of came out of nowhere to be awesome this year.
Hey, real quick, Mitch, when is he coming back?
Should be back for the Rams.
Good.
I think they were kind of
Just in time
arrogant.
to lose by 20.
I think they were kind of arrogant and rested him
Just
against the
get hit
Giants,
by
thinking
your
they were going to win.
double
Yeah,
and they
it's
didn't.
just they're still in the hunt for the division, I think.
We're top of the division by 2
Yeah.
games.
All right,
but
good.
it was still arrogant.
I know, it's good
bench
to
him.
rest. Okay.
Who do you think has more sacks, Aaron Donald or Khalil Mack in that game?
Ooh,
Yeah, boy,
good
that's a
one.
good question.
That'd be fun.
It's going to be banana.
How quick until Trubisky dies when Aaron Donald falls on top of him?
The reason I wouldn't, the
I don't
reason
know,
I
50 Cent
think
still
that,
kicking? Yes.
the reason I think that, I don't know, man. Like, you've got to catch Mitch first. Like, he's so quick or out of the pocket that I wonder if, I think that he will get sacked, but he won't get sacked by Donald. I think he'll get got by the linebackers more.
Where's
than
this
he'll get
game
got by
being
him.
played at?
Soldier Field.
So we can't say it's going to be a repeat in the NFC Championship game because of the record of the Rams. So they'll be playing in Los Angeles.
If they play.
But this will be a good showcase for the Bears to see how good that defense really is against
Yep.
that high-powered offense. It's going to be a really good game.
In a really cold Sunday night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because the Rams didn't do it against the Lions indoors.
yeah. So
Yeah,
we
You
will
just
see.
don't know. I think I'm really
I can't wait for that
It's gonna
game.
be-
It's a Sunday. Is it
Sunday night.
Yeah,
it'll
that's
flex.
going to be a
It'd
good
take
game.
you out. It'd take your game out.
No, that was a
Flex.
couple weeks ago. That was
It flexed one of them.
Actually, the game that actually took out the Jacksonville Sunday night game was actually Myers Park against West Charlotte in the high school
It was a
football
replay of the
game.
dog show.
they played last year's Puppy Bowl. God.
Yo, the Bud Bowl.
I'm glad that you're walking in and whipping my ass just like everyone
Yeah,
else.
welcome to the club.
I like the Jags. I do.
This
You know
is
that.
every week is that there's some sort
No,
of
I'm
whip
with you.
Kyle's ass.
No, I like the Jags.
The Bears, I've got Coldplay, because once the Bears added Khalil Mack and Roquan Smith, it was like Coldplay actually being able to record a proper album, and they blew up. Like, their sound just improved immensely, all of it. Also, like Coldplay's debut album, Bears fans are whiny as fuck. And that's mostly a shot at Josh.
Thank you.
But I've seen Bears Twitter that Josh retweets, and boy howdy, are they torn
I have
up.
Coldplay somewhere else. That's going to be
I
fun.
hope it's the Cowboys. They deserve it.
I have Coldplay in here as well.
Okay, I'm glad we all have Coldplay. They're hard to miss in the 2000s.
They really are.
Let's jump to
AFC North?
let's do AFC North.
Okay, this is a fun one for me. I'm going to start out with the Steelers.
Go.
They are early 2000s Aerosmith because they just won't fucking go away.
Nice.
Oh my god.
I have the Steelers as OAR of a revolution because there's nothing more that says OAR than Ben Roethlisberger drunk in a girl's bathroom, forcing himself on them.
That's
God, he
classic.
loves girls' bathrooms in Georgia. Oh, it's his favorite place.
And it's just a crazy game of poker. Poker.
Yeah.
Polka. I don't even
God,
know.
I didn't even put that together.
Oh, man, no. So I have Pittsburgh as Coldplay. They used to be. They started off really cool, doing new shit that people hadn't seen before, with like some pretty big names doing something cool. And as of right now, they're pretty much the same as Kyle just said. They're just there. They used to be
Really
great,
good, but they're fucking
and now
slow.
they're just there.
Them losing and Ben Roethlisberger blaming everybody but himself.
Yeah. Or Chris Martin calling his kid Apple and being upset by people taking
Yeah.
the piss.
Yeah. Sorry, you named your kid Apple.
Yeah.
Kyle, you go. Next one.
Let's go with the Browns.
Oh, wait, I got one for Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Dude, ooh,
I want to
get
do
it,
this.
Nasta.
I say the Steelers are actually Kid Rock.
Oh, yes!
Go ahead, you hated that month?
Because if you ever see the Steeler fans, they are trashy as trash. They are. I actually went to a couple Steeler games in my day, and some of the fans are like, there are more mullets
No,
in that fan base than there were in the friggin' 80s.
oh, there's no way. There's no way.
Oh, Pittsburgh. I mean, we've driven through it.
I mean,
It's-
Pittsburgh is.
It's a hellscape.
Yeah.
How many more mullets over or under are you gonna have if you had the Pittsburgh?
If I
Steelers
went
play the
to a
Birmingham
Pittsburgh
Lions?
Steelers game right now, I don't know. That's a lot of mullets.
I want to know the mullet ratio in Pittsburgh to the mullet ratio in like Cleveland.
Ooh.
I mean, they're right there next to each
Yeah.
other.
There's
Or
a higher
Nebraska.
percentage of white people in Pittsburgh, so mullet
Yeah.
in
Okay.
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And they're all just like,
What
they're
about
all
blonde?
miners, like old miners. What else are they going to do?
Just
Grow
get a
their hair
mullet.
out, but only in the back.
Get a mullet and listen to Travis Tritt.
That's all they've got. Yeah. Who I relate with, despite it being from not Pittsburgh.
All right, so Browns. I went Power Man 5000.
Ooh.
So because they're a wild ass team with a really crazy front man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I like Mayfield. I have to say.
He's fun to watch.
Yeah, he is fun to watch.
Marty hates Mayfield.
Oh, he hates him. I remember before I was telling you when they drafted him, he was going to be the man. You didn't like that.
And you notice how he hasn't been.
Nah. But he did,
He's got more wins there than the last 85
years.
quarterbacks. I
You
had.
could trip forward and have more wins than the Cleveland Browns. It's not saying like anything. It's like, oh, it's 65.
It's better than
but
Coy Detmer.
It's so hot compared to that 55-degree day we just
Better than Charlie Badge.
wrong.
ooh, Charlie Badge.
For the Browns, I have Puddle of Mud. Because,
Mud is brown.
do we know, Puddle of Mud,
Great shout.
oh, that's a good point. So Puddle of Mud was put together by Fred Durst. The singer abandoned his old band and kept the name and fucked over everybody. So, led by a childish, backstabbing piece of shit, Baker, and put together by an idiot, the Browns GM, aka Fred Durst, in this situation. A round of applause. I'll put it in. I'll edit it in. Don't worry, because I think that's the best one I've got, to be honest.
That's a good one.
All right. Anybody else have Browns?
No.
Bengals, I've got Chris Brown because he hits women, and so does Joe Mixon, the running back for the
Okay,
Bengals.
yeah.
So I figured.
Okay.
Bengals. I went with. So they started out super hot, looked like they're going to be awesome, and then completely shit the bed. They're a mistake.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Mistake. Did you really think they're going to be awesome, though?
I loved who. I
The
loved
first
Hoobastank.
album was kind of.
Yeah, I love that album.
Does anybody have me for the Ravens? I know you
I
do.
do.
No.
I've got Ravens because they're D12. Because it was Eminem surrounded by trash, and in this case, Lamar Jackson is my Eminem, and the rest of the Ravens offense is just absolute trash.
I'm going back a little further with the Ravens. Not current Ravens, but as an organization. Snoop Dogg, because he beat a murder case just like Ray Lewis did.
Murder was the case that they gave him. Ravens. So
Quote,
I kind of did. Yeah, that's.
Sorry.
This one's way worse than those two. So I tend to actually like the Ravens right now. I have no issue with them, which strong
like Lamar
band.
Jackson.
So to me, a band that I really liked in the early 2000s, American Hi-Fi.
nice. I forgot all about American Idol.
Love them.
Do you think that Lamar Jackson is just the flavor of the week, though?
Maybe. Very possible.
I think he's going to be pretty solid.
He can't be. If Lamar Jackson and the Ravens can win with an underwhelming passing performance and just a running quarterback, then so can Cap.
Yes.
Moving on, we're going to go back to the
Especially
NFC.
if you put him in the if you put him in there in training camp. Let him
And he's
work
got to
with
run through what the Swiss defense, Bengals defenses,
Oh, yeah.
Pittsburgh. Yeah. Let's do NFC East.
it. Okay.
I'm going to lead off with the Eagles, and it's Soulja Boy
Eagles.
because they had one hit, and
That's
it will
it.
never happen again.
100%. I agree
Never
with you.
happen again.
What was that Soldier Boy song?
Soldier Boy up in them
Oh,
hoes.
Yeah.
yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
You
Crank that.
Crank that.
Soldier Boy, tell him.
Yeah. You know what? You will see the Eagles maybe 10 years from now on VH1, one-hit wonders.
You're gonna be right up there with.
What happened when?
So I had the Eagles as Lady Gaga.
Ooh.
The reason why I say that is because she didn't really make it big, but she was doing loads of weird shit. And that's what they were doing when I first started following it, the game, right?
Brother,
when
you
they
missed
had,
the American Lady Gaga obsession because she was fucking huge.
When she had... When
She
they
was
had,
humongous,
what was
yeah.
his name? When LaShawn McCoy was there and they had...
Is it Donovan? Not Donovan.
Just loads of weird shit that they
Michael
were doing.
Vick,
Was
they
it
were
Chip
running out
Kelly?
there.
Chip Kelly.
He was doing weird shit and it was popular
Nick Foles
but
part
not
one.
that big of a thing. And then...
It was 3 years ahead of its time or so. Honestly.
As is
True.
Lady
Now
Gaga.
a lot of teams are running those offensive.
As was Lady Gaga at the time.
It's true.
And then all of a sudden you had an influx of all of them, just like Kesha and all of that lot that came out after Lady Gaga. And then she finally made it big with a big hit like Poker Face or like whatever, had her time in the sun, and has gone to do something else.
Eagles were rah-rah Super Bowl baby.
Yep, and now they're just another team, just like she's another singer.
Good point.
That's mine.
So Eagles, I went with band that was coming off a huge high in the late '90s into the early 2000s, and then really put out some shit music after that. Korn.
Oh yeah,
Because I do not like Korn stuff after like 2000.
dude, they were hot for like what 2 years maybe.
Yeah.
they were like
They were the hottest.
They were the hottest.
Exactly.
Like
they were the
96.
kings of the world.
They were the
And
kings
then-
of the world for 2 years.
I would like to point out, though, the Eagles don't have this influence, but Korn is still like one of the biggest bands in like Brazil and like random parts of Eastern Europe. Like
so it's
they
Carson
have,
Wentz.
yeah, Carson Wentz is huge. He's huge in Argentina.
Yeah, massive in Eritrea. Like,
Turkey cannot get enough of Carson Wentz.
Well, I do have one thing because I will have to leave this podcast. But now,
He's done with us.
Not for good.
a couple things. It's for all you listening. That us four in this room actually made the playoffs in the same league.
In the
So-
fantasy
Oh,
football.
yeah. Yes.
Fantasy football. So congratulations to all of
And
us.
we can all say, suck it, Sam, suck it.
Yes.
yes,
Thank you for fixing that because I found out what happened. So
Chicanery.
I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad that was
Suck it,
fixed.
I
Jeff.
feel like
Yeah.
I took the team from just a gutter
You did.
team.
It was a gutter
It really
team.
was.
And Marty and I had the first trade, and it was so.
Cam Newton first touches
Yo, it was-
and it got declined.
They got declined, and I went crazy cursing everybody out. And then all of a sudden, everybody accepted
And
it.
how times have
and we
changed.
both made the playoffs.
Because you made him the trade, and I'm the one who got him into the league,
Uh-huh.
and you got to the playoffs with Cam, part of that original trade,
Yeah.
and I got to the playoffs thanks to Odell, part of that original trade.
That's right.
So there you go.
You're
And
all
Marty was just trying
Yes.
to
6
outdo the
degrees
world
of separation
Exactly.
every week.
Yeah.
I couldn't pry Patrick Mahomes from Kyle's.
And one more question
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got before I leave. Now, I don't know if anybody out there in the podcast world knows that Kyle had a great, successful band in the
No.
2000s. So, what team?
which team is underwhelming?
What team would be your team?
What team is a lunar dance party?
Yes. Yeah, for
the
your
Cardinals,
band.
because we just weren't ready.
That's all I gotta say. Listen, guys, thank you again.
Nasta, thank you for stopping
Hey,
by.
I'll see you
See
guys
ya.
tomorrow.
Thanks, bro.
I
For
can't
dramatic effect, can you slam the door behind you?
Yeah, I'm outta here.
It'd be fun audio.
And we're gonna do a lightning round in a second.
Alright.
All right, so let's keep going. We have
So
the Redskins. I went ahead and put them as lost prophets because they're just a bunch of child fuckers. Bye, Nasta.
Later, guys.
See you later.
I'll make sure you heard that before you left.
Should we, instead of doing it this... No, let's do it this way, actually. You have every team.
yeah.
Never mind.
That's the only reason I'm not spitballing back and forth.
Right.
I went with Good Charlotte, just because they were. They looked like they could do something, and the wheels just completely fell off, and I just didn't like them.
I didn't have anything for the Cowboys. I presume you guys did.
Nope.
I did Incubus.
Ooh.
They were in their stride right then.
Fucking love Incubus.
Yeah. I mean, look at what the Cowboys are doing. They've won 4 in a row at this point. They're in their stride. In the early 2000s,
Brandon Boyd.
Incubus was just killing.
Brandon Boyd, notorious for being extremely defensive.
Mm-hmm.
About everything. I have the last one for the NFC East. I have the Giants. Can I put the Vines?
Okay.
And the reason is because they're surprisingly decent, but they're led by an autistic guy.
Oh God!
As the vines were. In this case, as Eli Manning is.
Okay. I have the Giants too. And it's Marty coming out to the Winter Olympics, and he's taking a new role in the slippery slope. Let's see how he does in this one.
Let's see how he fares.
We still have more than half the league to go. Let's see how
on time.
Let's see how he has a new PB. All right, Giants. I've got one for the Giants. My one is Eminem. The reason I went with the Giants and Eminem is because when he made it big with like the Marshall Mathers LP and went really big, that's the Giants winning the Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's when they were at their peak. And ever since then, they did nothing but put out shit. Just the same as Eminem did.
And my only problem with the comparison is the Giants, when they won the Super Bowl, they were never the best team. Or like Eminem was clearly the best.
Right. So my only thing was going to be, ever since then, every now and again, M will come back and remind people that he was once pretty great. And the Giants do it every now and again with a single performance, or Odell's one-handed catch, or just shit like that. There'll be moments where you
I
go,
like that comparison a lot. Or Saquon just juking the piss out of everybody.
Yeah, Saquon, like, the Bears haven't given up more than, like, 2 rushing touchdowns all year, and Saquon runs a train on them, and you're like,
Yeah.
that's Eminem's latest album.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
He just tore
Odell-
apart Machine Gun Kelly.
Or Odell makes a one-handed catch, and you're like, oh, there's his retort to a freestyle.
All right, for the Giants, I went with you too. So we're great. Actually, did something great in the early 2000s. I think that was their last.
Kerry Collins.
Yeah. Well, not the Giants, but but you two did their last album.
Both, I guess.
Yeah. But then they just kept on retreading the same thing, and then popping up on our iPhone, like Eli Manning with football on my phone, and just
Nice. I like the comparison a lot. And I think that's actually
That's
that's the end of the NFC East, which is going to actually segue perfectly into the AFC East.
Okay.
Because for the Patriots, I have you two, and in all caps, I have written here, just die already. Also, fronted by the most boring motherfucker in the world, Bono, Tom Brady. There's your comparison.
You have the Patriots?
I do.
Go for it.
Kanye.
Kane West?
Kanye.
Is it the
Because
political part of Tom and
you either
Trump?
love him or you hate him. There is no other thing that there are ties to Trump with both. But every time you think he's gone away or he's not as good as he used to be, they fucking annoyingly come back and keep doing the same thing over and over. And he is the same way, whether you love him or hate him. And that's the same for the Pats. Like, you either love him or you hate him. There's very little in between. Or you're just sick of hearing about him. And the same thing goes for Kanye West.
Honestly,
you love him, you hate him, or you're just so sick of hearing his name that you don't care either way.
If you took those god-awful San Diego Fleet football players and put Tom Brady with them and Bill Belichick, give them a year, and I bet you they make the fucking playoffs.
They go 11-5.
It's so god. They go 11-5. 11-5. They have the number 5 defense. It's Bill Belichick's like my favorite, and Tom Brady I don't hate. But God, he's easy to.
Yeah.
Especially when he just.
So, Patriots, I went Nickelback. Because didn't hate him when they first came out.
Same.
And then they started to retread the same thing over and over and over, and still somehow got to the top of the charts every time. And nobody really fucking likes them anymore.
Yeah, like who's buying their albums?
Yeah.
Who is Tom Brady throwing to?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the cousin I haven't talked to in 10 years, and somehow he's got it's what's his
And
name?
also-
Kevin Oak.
And also, the Patriots,
No, that's
got
not supervised.
busted for Spygate, so they were definitely looking at that photograph.
Yeah, that is true. And every time you think they're bad, they come back and win a lot of games, and that's how they remind you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Tom Brady's a leader of men. All right. I don't have anything for the Jets.
I do.
I do.
So, for two reasons, they're SR-71. One, because SR-71 is a jet. So
Good call.
so there you go.
A little on the nose.
And, two, they came out right off the bat. They had that song "Right Now," which I fucking love. Remember that first game against the Lions? Everybody was like, "Oh my god, they're gonna be great!" And then they realized they were the Jets.
Yeah, one complete
SR-71
offense.
realized they were SR-71 and didn't do anything.
Didn't they have some kind of info on the Lions playbook too that like kind of just got them win?
Don't doubt it. But I mean, that's how the league works.
Oh no, it wasn't like controversial at the time. It was just it came out that they'd had some kind of way or shape or form of knowing exactly what the Lions.
Well, they
were
also
doing.
just played. They also played Patricia twice the year before with the Patriots.
Yeah.
So like
That might
that's
have been part of
a
it.
lot of coach movement will do that to you. Which is probably the only reason the Lions hung in with the. I don't know. They're anyways. The Bills.
I got the Bills, obviously.
Do you have the Bills?
No.
I have the Bills as Usher.
Okay.
And the reason is because, like Usher, Buffalo is the most likely place for you to catch herpes.
It's probably true.
And I don't know if you know that Usher has herpes.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Very
he's
proud.
a lot of issues. It's all over the
He
media.
let it burn.
He did let it burn. Oh boy. He won't let that.
These aren't his confessions.
It reminds you of a girl that he once gave herpes to.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
They said, "Do you have herpes?" He said, "Yeah."
Times
Yeah.
I know that was Chris Brown that did times 3.
That was Chris Brown.
No.
Oh,
Usher did the song but then Chris Brown came out.
both
and said-
criminal to women, but
Yes.
for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yes. Bills, I went with Insane Clown Posse because the Bills Mafia is fucking nuts, just like the Juggalos,
Yeah.
and they're complete trash. So
They both try to take down the FBI too.
they both don't know what magnets are.
How do they work?
They just constantly fall through tables always.
They're basically amateur wrestlers.
God, that's tough to top, man. ICP, I totally forgot about. The Dolphins. Does anybody have one for the Dolphins?
Yeah, I got one for them.
Ooh,
I did too.
Tap in, Josh.
Yeah.
System of a Down.
Ooh. Okay.
They were pretty popular, but only in a select group of people. And those people are fucking diehards for them.
Yeah.
No matter what they put out, they love them. Love them.
If you allow me to go next, because this fits actually exactly mine perfectly, because I only know one Dolphin fan, that'd be Kirk in Charlotte, who I know is listening. I thought I'd give their band Kirk's favorite band. So the Dolphins are Hoobastank. But only the late Hoobastank, like the last 2 albums.
Like the one that was trying to tell us what the reason was.
Kirk will not stop playing it every time I get in his car. It's
He's
like,
like,
hey
hey,
man, have you heard this song? And it's the reason every time. And I don't know what to do about it. Frankly, he's your cousin, Kyle.
Do I need to have an intervention?
We need to have an intervention.
Just steal this radio.
Sometimes the best solution is the easiest. Bash his radio in with the crowbar.
Say this is what we do in Liverpool.
Yeah.
Take it out. There's a lot of Dolphins fans in Britain, you know. There's a lot of Dolphins in the UK, and
Why do UK
that's
fans
kind of,
love Florida teams?
I don't know, that's kind of where I went with the System of a Down thing, because I knew a lot of System of a Down fans in the UK and a lot of Dolphins fans in the UK, and they had a lot of traits, just a team to a band. They really do.
Do dolphins hang around the English shoreline at all?
No.
Too damn cold.
I thought maybe.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean that's what I figured, but there had to be some part of the season I thought maybe, just maybe.
No, not really. We see the odd shark.
Would they shit? Would it be on the night news if a dolphin was sighted on the beach outside of Brighton?
Yes.
But it was Rob
Absolutely.
Conrad after he swam in from.
Yeah, it was actually who's the dipshit offensive line? It was Richie Incognito swimming up on
God.
shore.
Do you remember that story of Rob Conrad where he like went offshore in Florida and like his boat capsized and he swam to shore?
No, but someone needs to check out the Florida coastline because there's way too many boating accidents that happen.
Yes.
It's a miracle.
Well,
anyone's
it's
alive
because
out
Florida's a fucking
It's going to be a swimming pool soon.
Dolphins, I went there. They're my Coldplay. They came out looking pretty good.
The
like
phrase,
they did this
they're
year.
my Coldplays.
They're my Coldplay. They came out pretty good and just kind of level set and surprisingly okay.
Yeah.
They're pretty middle of the road, a little bit like Train.
They still up and surprise you. Like that's what
Yeah.
Especially Tannehill, man. I don't know how he's still playing, and then he does, and he looks good, and then he looks bad, and then he looks good.
Did the stat at the starting of the year, in his last 10 games, because obviously he didn't play much at all last year.
Yeah.
He didn't play it at all. In his last 10 games, he was like 9-1 as a starter, which was insane.
Fucking bonkers.
Let's go on to the AFC South.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I haven't been mentioning Kyle from Texas at all.
Okay.
So let me rip through some of his that we've covered.
Okay.
The Cowboys he had as Weezer because they were the best in the 90s and somehow they're still relevant. For the Falcons, did we do the Falcons yet?
Nope.
Okay, cool. We'll skip that. We did the Patriots. He had Beyonce/Jay-Z because they're still the best. For the Jets, he had Mariah Carey because it's a dumpster fire. For the Bills, he said Coldplay because they both suck balls. For the Browns, he had the All-American Rejects, which is pretty great. Pretty great. That's the only teams. All right, cool.
Okay.
Let's move on. You said the AFC South, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to start with the Jags. My team, they're Velvet Revolver because they were supposed to be some great thing, and man, did they suck.
Velvet Revolver is awful. Did Velvet Revolver make it across the pond?
Not that I've heard
It
of.
hardly made it across America. It was
It
bad.
was really bad.
The band name pretty much says it.
Yes. What was it? It was Guns N' Roses with who is the lead singer?
It's basically a euphemism for a dick. A Velvet Revolver.
Who was their lead singer?
Doesn't even matter.
Was it?
Do you have a Jags?
I do.
I hope you do. Because Kyle from Texas has one that I think is going to best all of us.
Okay. Shall I go?
You go.
Go for it.
I have the Jags as Linkin Park. The reason why is because the music they put out, especially Hybrid Theory, reminds me, just makes me think of the way the Jags played defense last year. But at the heart of it, they were really still led by a troubled individual, and eventually someone's going to die.
Yeah. So Bortles getting bent is akin to Chester dying.
Yes.
Okay, I agree.
Okay, yeah.
The only reason I picked this band for my Jaguars is because their song is actually the official city anthem. Did you know the city had an anthem?
No.
Okay, well this is official. And their official theme song for Jacksonville is Butterfly by Crazy Town, which is what the Jaguars are. The Jaguars are Crazy Town. And the best thing about that's it's a scummy town with a scummy band.
Oh Jesus, that song.
And I think the best one for the Jags, Kyle from Texas said that they're Amy Winehouse because their organization is dead.
And eventually going to be British.
Yeah, and like she was.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, and also if they stay in Jacksonville, they'll eventually be underwater, just like she was drowning in wine
Fair.
and drugs.
Interesting that 2 of the 4 ended in death.
Yeah.
Can't end.
Well, when you watch the Jags, there's not anything
Right,
else you
it's
can really think of.
The team was on life support last week.
That's God.
Who won? Colts. So, biggest comeback, I think this year, and Andrew Luck. Going from the late 90s, there was a band that, bunch of hits, and then went away for a bit, and then in like 2002, reemerged and had a huge hit. They're E6. Because Inside Out, like 97, and then Here's to the Night was like in 2002.
Yeah. And they did that graduation song.
That was Here's to the Night.
Yeah. Good. I did something similar. A band that was really popular, and then kind of faded out, and then came back after another comeback, and it wasn't as good. And that's the 2000s Metallica. But here's why. Because they took something everyone liked, Napster, Andrew Luck, and totally fucking ruined it. Lars Ulrich is to Frank Reich. I just don't like saying that word, to be honest. I know you like
I had a funny
oven
joke on the
jokes.
ticket yesterday, which was, it was they said, so if Frank Reich, if his father was Frank Reich and his father was Frank Reich, would that mean that
Yeah,
He's the Third Reich.
He is the third.
Reich? Would that be on the back of his jersey?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
It better be. At this point. Right,
Honest-
where are we at?
Colts.
Titans.
Colts. We can move on to the Titans.
I don't have anything for the rest of the South.
Titans for me is T-Pain. Because watching the offense is painful, just like the auto-tune era was painful. But Mariota's a better quarterback than anyone gives him credit for, and also T-Pain is a better singer than people would give him credit for.
Yes.
So there's my comparison.
Titans for me are Mudvayne. because the Titans are
You can dig them.
well they're highly there's only one interesting part of that band. There's only one interesting part of the Titans. It's Mariota, and for Mudvayne it's the bassist.
Yeah,
So
that's actually a really good point. And they all wear crazy face paint, which is
Yeah.
the weirdest comparison, obviously. The Texans for me were the Arctic Monkeys because the way that the Arctic Monkeys came out, and they were just like this punchy young badass band and totally just like rocked the scene, is how I feel watching that entire Texans offense, really. Minus Watson running for his life. But that's my comparison, and I love the Arctic Monkeys, and I really like what the Texans are doing.
I don't have anything.
Oh, yeah.
No more for the South. I only had the Jags. Really.
Texans
Yeah.
for me, because I loved them, especially in the early 2000s, and they're about to be taking on a giant, just whirlwind. They're going to be awesome, or going to be huge players for a long time. They're Fall Out Boy.
I like that.
They just come out with Sugar We're Going Down, and then skyrocketed.
Fair.
And last year, Deshaun Watson, Sugar went down with an injury and lost the rest of the season.
That's very true.
So we have a few more teams to burn through. Let's do Kyle from Texas. Titans or Green Day, why do they even exist? This is a fair call out. Let's burn through some of these because the show's getting a little long in the tooth. Let's burn through the NFC West.
NFC West?
Let's do two at a time.
Okay.
Two teams at a time.
NFC West. Do Rams Seahawks first?
It works for me.
Rams, I went with Linkin Park from the early 2000s because they were on top of the world. They were super fun. Their live shows were...
I feel bad for Jared Goff's future now.
yeah,
Seriously.
Seahawks, The Offspring, they just consistently were there. They were good for years. They were there.
God, I love the Offspring. Do you have anything for Rams?
I've got both. Yeah, Rams I went with Gorillas. The reason why is because the Rams, although they're incredibly good and talented and doing cool shit, they're not getting as much recognition as they should be. And secondly, they moved from St. Louis, and the lead singer of Gorillaz was the guy from Blur.
Yeah.
So it was kind of an amalgamation of the two. So that's where I went with
Very
Rams
cool.
and Gorillaz.
God, that's a fucking
Very
cool
good.
answer.
Very good.
I didn't put the Grills anywhere on my list. Did you?
No.
No. Fuck.
Taking it down a notch now then, sorry to disappoint.
Yeah. That's
Seattle, late 90s, early 2000s, it's still close or close enough. I went with Spice Girls. You alright? Spice Girls. Spice Girls at their peak were the Legion of Boom, and they've all since gone off to do their own kind of thing, and they're all a bit shit on their own.
Yeah. So lad talk here. Of the Spice Girls in their prime, who is your
I was Sporty Spice.
same?
Sporty Spice.
Sporty Spice did it.
The blonde one.
Posh?
Emma,
Baby
Spice.
Spice.
Yeah.
She got better with age.
You know who got better with age?
She did.
Scary
Ironic
Spice.
for her
Scary
name.
Spice is beautiful.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, she-
yeah.
I
And
mean-
maybe I just didn't have any appreciation for it then.
I did. She was like my number 2.
Really?
But
She's,
she's Sporty Spice. Was,
That's one, if you couldn't finish, you'd think of Scary Spice and
Yeah.
just, pop out. Shooting ghosts.
6th grade was a fun time, guys.
So for Seahawks, I have Switchfoot. My mom made me watch the Spice Girls movie once because she wanted to see it real bad. It doesn't hold up. Seahawks is Switchfoot. Lame Christian rock, Russell Wilson, his whole religion, not having sex till he got married. And then for Rams, I have Maroon 5 because Sean McVay is as sexy as peak Adam Levine, both in looks and in talent.
Okay. So let's finish up the the AFC or NFC South with the Cardinals and the 49ers. Now, Cardinals, we had a better comparison with my shit band from from the 2000s not being ready, but I went with another band that wasn't ready in the early 2000s, The Calling.
The Calling.
They had
Great
one
shout.
song, yeah. And then 49ers, kind of along the same lines with Maroon 5 with you and the Rams. Jimmy Garoppolo is a beautiful human being. They are Sugar Ray.
Nice.
Got that kind of California vibe too, and yeah.
That's a good one. So, Josh, do you have...
Yes, I don't have the cards. I have the Niners. They are who I gave to Nickelback.
Really?
Yeah, they did one really cool thing with the "How You Remind Me" bit, and like everybody really liked it. And every now and like this is just personal. I just don't like them since.
Yeah,
I don't like Nickelback since.
it's understandable.
Just something about them, and it's something about Nickelback too. Can't really place what annoys me about them.
All of it.
Neither
So-
can I with the Niners, but they both do.
So the Cardinals' offensive line has allowed the second most quarterback hits, which is why the Cardinals for me is J.C. Chazé, because like a 2004 hit blowing me up, poor Josh Rosen is getting lit up, and he's not able to do anything. He just
J.C.
gets-
Chazé.
Yeah, knew no one would have that. That's a fucking perfect.
Oh, jeez.
49ers for me are Drowning Pool, because they had a potentially promising team or band until their lead guy went down. In this case, Garoppolo with an injury, or the Drowning Pool singer by dying. There's a theme here.
Debt. You could have used them for the Cardinals because their offensive line is also letting the bodies hit the floor.
You know what? That's a really good point. Well, all the injuries they've had, there's bodies hitting the floor too.
Oh yeah,
Both teams.
yeah. So we got 2 divisions left.
Let's do. Who do we want the last one to be?
Do you want the AFC West or the NFC South?
I'm going to say that NFC South is one of my weakest, so we can knock that out.
Okay.
Let me see. Oh, you know what? There's 2 that have from Kyle in Texas. Rams are Christina Aguilera because the offense is sexy as hell. And the Seahawks are Ja Rule because they're still trying to be hard, but no one's buying it.
That's pretty excellent.
That's a fucking great one.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
Well, I've got 3 teams left, so wherever you want to go.
All right,
Let's go to NFC South.
let's do NFC South.
Okay.
I'll rip off 2 first. Panthers, the Ying Twins, because every song started hot, but every album finished with a lot of disappointing tracks, just like this season for the Panthers. And then, did I say the other team was going to do?
Yep.
Cool. Buccaneers are Kanye West because Fitzmagic has the same swagger that Kanye had on late registration and on graduation.
Okay.
Just exudes confidence, despite what his career is going to end up being.
Sure.
Which is 808s and heartbreaks.
Nice. Panthers are Creed. Kind of terrible with a prima donna frontman that just does nothing for me.
See, I feel like Cam's the guitarist because he's like extremely talented, but he gets in his own way of his band's success.
Well, Scott Stapp too. Well, he's not
I guess-
talented, but he got in the way of his own band success.
Did you ever see the video of Scott Stapp in the limo?
No.
So they were a Christian band, and I'm pretty sure him getting a blowjob from a hooker, just high as a kite.
Oh yeah, he's a fucking mess.
He's an absolute mess.
He also recorded a song for the Florida Marlins or the Miami Marlins. It was like a hype song for their baseball team, and it was the worst.
The fact that he did a hype song.
Oh my god, it's called The Marlins Will Soar.
The Marlins will soar. Because when I think
One
Marlins,
strikeout space is double plays. It's great. It is so cringeworthy. It's
that'll be the
wonderful.
intro for the next episode.
It better be. Okay, and then the Buccaneers, because they can't figure out who their quarterback is, they are Red Hot Chili Peppers because they couldn't figure out who their guitarist was
Nice.
in the
Very good.
90s to 2000s.
Very fair.
And honestly, never mind, I don't have a good joke. Do you have either of those teams?
I have the Panthers, obs. Now, this is a question for both of you. This is a British boy band from the late 90s, early 2000s. I want to know if either of you have heard them first. Take That.
Yep.
No.
Cool. So Take That were a really big boy band. You know Robbie Williams?
Yes.
He was one of the members of Take That.
Robbie Williams.
Robbie Williams is Cam Newton. Together they're pretty good, but you know that if he left, he would be just above average, and the rest of them would really not do much ever the
Yeah.
same again.
They were a sum of parts versus.
Yes, and Robbie Williams carries himself with the same confidence that Cam carries himself.
So what member is
now.
Christian McCaffrey?
Gary Barlow.
that works for me because I have no idea.
He was the actual lead singer and doesn't get any of the praise. And that's exactly what he is right
perfect.
now.
For the Falcons, I have Modest Mouse because they're just extremely, extremely talented, but after every game or song, you feel bummed out because they underperform. Or not Modest Mouse, but the fucking Falcons. And then for the Saints, I had Lil Wayne because the obvious New Orleans connection, because Drew Brees is absolute fire, and the 2000s were ruled by Lil Wayne towards the end. And they just paid Drew Brees earlier this year $50 million.
My dick. Jesus Christ. My Falcons are Slipknot. Uber talented, super flashy, but ultimately it's just too much going on.
There's too many moving parts.
It's just too much.
There's 5 dipshits playing drums.
Somebody with a fucking steel drum over here like a kettle.
Matt Ryan's throwing shit, literal shit.
Yeah. And then the Saints are Blink-182 because they hit it big a couple years ago, so mid-90s for Blink, and then early 2000s. It's like almost like a renaissance for them because they were starting to almost hit their prime a little bit.
Yeah.
But Drew Brees, look at what he's fucking doing.
You know how I almost did the Saints was Aquabats because I'm sorry, it was Blink-182, but because Travis Barker was with the Aquabats and Brees with the Chargers, and they had a better career with their next band being Blink-182 or
That's
the Saints.
Do you have any?
Yeah, I've got the Saints. And I know they listen, so I know they're big fans. And it's kind of ironic given that they're from Atlanta, so they probably won't like it, but I gave the Saints Outcast.
Nice. Dude, I had a hard time finding anybody for Outcast, and I don't think I used them.
I gave the Saints Outcast is because they're always relevant whenever they're around. Just like Breeze and Co. are always relevant whenever they want to be. But when they go quiet, you kind of forget about them. But when they come back, you realize just how fucking cool they are.
Yeah.
And that is the Saints and Outcast.
Alvin Kamara 3000.
And yeah, you know what? If you want to go even further, Andre 3000 and Kamara, and then Big Boy and Ingram.
That's actually really good.
You wrote there too.
Kyle from Texas had Falcons, Ludacris because they're both from ATL, and then the Saints, Eminem because they're always good. I believe that almost does it for his choices. There's a couple more. Or do we only have the AFC
only have
West
the
left?
NFC West or the AFC West left.
Perfect. The Chiefs are taking back Sunday. And here's why. Because the Patriots have ruled the AFC for so long, but finally, the Chiefs are taking back Sunday. End show, play the song, the meltdowns, here they come.
Should have ended it with that one.
I really should. God damn it. No, I want to end with my Broncos one. It's the best one.
Okay. Do you want to do a second one?
Oh, yeah, fuck me. The Chargers are the polyphonic spree because there's a million members and Phillip Rivers has 8 goddamn children with one more on the way.
The Chiefs, critical darlings right now. There's Something Corporate. Loved Something Corporate in the 2000s. One of my favorite bands, and they were critically acclaimed. Chiefs are the critical darling right now. Chargers, 311. Kind of had that chill kind of feel to it, and they don't get as much love as a lot of bands, but they're really fucking fun to watch. And if you actually sit down and watch a Chargers game right now, they're really fucking fun to watch.
Really is. Even without Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
So I have the Chiefs as my last one. I gave them the Lost Prophets. Because everyone really quite liked them.
I loved them.
They're fun. They did a lot of cool shit. And then one of their main assets ruined their lives, and it's never going to be the same, really.
Yeah.
For this year,
that's a tough one.
Yeah, like I feel kind of dirty going back and listening to some of their stuff.
It's
like
a bummer.
Called Hypocrisy. I'm like, oh, I love that song, and oh boy.
In the same way that you look at Kareem Hunt in your fantasy team and go,
Yeah, he says the word kid in one song, and you're just like, ooh.
Well, the town called Hypocrisy. It's like a little kid show. The video,
Cool.
and he's like kind of dancing around with them, and it's like,
Oh, weird.
boy.
The weirdest part, it should have tipped us off when he had his pants off in that music video.
Yeah.
That's all I've got. So you two
Okay, let me do.
make your bed.
Let me
on these last
do
two.
Chiefs and Chargers for Kyle in Texas. The Chiefs are Shakira because the offense is sexy as hell. That's
It's fair.
yeah. And then the Chargers were Nickelback, but it just says Rivers equals Kruger.
He must not like or Rivers, or he fucking loves Nickelback.
Maybe. Or Philip Rivers this whole time has been having sex with Avril Lavigne. Maybe the fake Avril Lavigne, though.
Maybe Phil Rivers recorded
That's
a
a
song
whole
with
other
Josie
episode.
Scott from Saliva.
That's probably more likely. God, I forgot Saliva. I would have put them as a fucking band. Especially because the Chiefs would have been click, click, boom. Because, oh, fuck me. Two more teams. The Raiders and the Broncos. Kyle, you please go.
Okay, so the Broncos, another band that, they're surprisingly fun and surprisingly good. Because I like the Broncos right now. Filter. I enjoy them. Also,
Filter, I enjoy them is going to be the title of this episode.
and then one of my favorite ones, the Raiders, are Guns N' Roses from the early 2000s.
Oh my God.
Because John Gruden blew that bitch up. Just like Axl Rose said, you know what? I'll take Buckethead.
So is Derek Carr Buckethead? Or is...
No, yeah, maybe.
oh, God, what's his name? Jordy Nelson is Buckethead. I've got the Raiders as Kiss in the 2000s. I've been on the same page here. It's a washed-up band trying to stay relevant, not doing well, a la John Gruden. And then the Broncos, which is what we'll end on here, is Kevin Federline.
K-Fed.
Because Kevin Federline, just like the Broncos, were associated with like absolute greatness for the era, right? Britney Spears, and Peyton Manning, in this situation are the same people. And so they're still trying to do what got them there, in which case it's just not working and they're mediocre. And that's being really kind to Kevin Federline. But honestly, I saw him on a list and I was like, gonna include him some way. And the Broncos seemed appropriate. Because he also smoked a lot of weed, like no doubt.
And also, Case Keenum got beat up by John Cena.
That's actually, yeah, absolutely. Did John Cena beat up Kevin Federline?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they wrestled at like a New Year's Eve Raw.
That's
Yeah, they
gross. So
did, yeah.
gross. God, it's so
like,
gross.
like 2005 or 6.
Yep,
That's awful.
it was bad.
I think that is going to do it for us. If you have any suggestions for teams with bands, we'll read them later on in other episodes. You can drop us a line at sportstrebuchetpod@gmail.com or hit us up on Twitter at sportstrebuchet. Also, if you have any comparison type episodes, whether it's comparing English Premier League teams to disco singers, we'll fucking do it. It doesn't matter. We'll do the homework.
Disco singers.
It doesn't matter. Any kind of
It
list.
was in the 70s for a fucking week.
Long live the Awesomest Fuck League. And thank you for listening. Coming up is going to be the song Cemetery City for the Meltdowns. And we will see y'all in a couple weeks.
Come on, Memphis Express.
Let's go.
Let's
Let's
go to
go.
San Antonio. Commanders, bro.
Let's go. Let's go Apollos.
Can someone take responsibility for recent criminal activity? Could we have ever found a redder hand? Your body's just take responsibility for recent criminal activity. Yeah. Could we have ever found a redder hand? Your body's just won't stay buried. Your body's just won't stay dead.